Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mainly Animals on LRTV. I'm your host, Bobby Silcott, and today we're back in the studio, and we're privileged to have a couple guests today. One is Nadine Malloy, founder and is executive director,
Yes.
a good title, of Noble Empty 2 Pet Food Pantry.
Right.
Yeah. And then we have Michelle Cobbett,
Yes.
who is a volunteer with the organization. I guess before we get started, maybe you could just give us a little background on you, how this whole thing got started.
Yeah. So back in 2015, I had a cat rescue I was running, and I specialized in critically ill and injured cats. So I would nurse them back to health. And I was starting to have a lot of time where people were trying to surrender their pets to me. And you talk to the people and you find out it's because they can't afford to feed the pets. They love their pets are their world, but they can't afford to feed them. And you had a lot of elderly that were skipping their medication to feed their pets, or going to the human food pantry to get food, and they're coming back with chicken and rice to feed their pets.
Oh.
So I thought there has to be a better way. There has to be something else we can do. And if we can have human food pantries, why can't we have a pet food pantry?
Mm-hmm.
And after thinking about it, I decided that we have a lot of wonderful rescues in Maine. We're very fortunate. Nobody was going to miss one rescue if I closed my rescue and opened the pet food pantry. I really felt I could make a bigger impact in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so with a couple of cans of dog food piled up in the corner of the garage and a little bit of bacon, we started the pet food pantry.
Right.
And haven't really looked back since.
Yeah. And here you are today. You've got a couple thousand clients.
Yeah, right now we're at 2,174.
2,174.
Yeah, and that's not families, but pets. Whoops.
Right. Hey, you lost your lid. There you go.
Yeah, that's actual pets. And we do everything: cats, dogs, gerbils, hamsters, lizards, fish, birds.
Right. Where there's a need, if you can meet that need for them,
yeah.
you try to do that.
We really do. We
Yeah.
try to do as much as we can.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's really nice you put these statistics together just for the benefit of the viewers. Breakdown of your clients' pets. 2 is ferrets, guinea pigs 18, hamsters 13, rabbits 8, birds 5, reptiles 9, betta fish 2, cats 1,079, and dogs 1,038 for a total of 2,174. Seems daunting.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to imagine that you do all of this yourself. You put all of this together. You stock the shelves. You go deliver all of this. You do all this.
Yeah,
No,
I don't do
takes
it all
takes a
100%
team to do that.
alone. It really
Yeah.
does. It takes an army to get it done. I do most of the administrative work, and I do most of the day-to-day, stocking the shelves, picking up donations, things like that. I have my volunteers that really step forward and help out. When we get huge deliveries come in or a lot of donations, they come and help unbox everything, stock the shelves. They help with drop-offs and deliveries, because although it's not an advertised service that we have, we do drop-off and delivery to elderly that can't get to us, to people who are disabled and can't get to us. And honestly, right now, with the price of gas and heating oil and everything else, we're finding more and more people just can't afford the gas to get to us. So my volunteers really do the bulk of my deliveries.
Right. And Michelle, nice of you to join us today. You're kind of a dual role here today.
I am.
a client and a volunteer as well. And I think that's wonderful that you're able to accomplish both of those things. So maybe you could help share with some of the viewers out there of what this means to you and how you got plugged into it.
Right. Well, I actually came across Nadine from a mutual friend. She fostered my kitty for a little while we were having housing issues a few years ago. And then found out about the pet food pantry. So one day she needed help unloading at an old location, and I brought my 2 kiddos and we helped unload. Then I started volunteering, but occasionally I have health issues, so occasionally I need a little extra help while maybe missing work or whatever, you know, experiencing health issues. But also just trying to volunteer for events, you know, occasionally doing drop-offs, you know, sometimes gas is tight on my end too, so I do what I can, volunteering for when she did a rabies clinic. So I'm not there a lot, but I try to do whenever possible, and she does, you know, she returns it when I reach out and say, hey, you know, I haven't been able to work, I've been in the hospital, can you help me a little bit? Or, you know, a food donation a few weeks ago when I was very, very ill with COVID, so a door drop off. So, you know, you give it and you get it back, I believe, you know, both ways. It's, you know, you can't expect just to take all the time. You know, it's good to volunteer too.
Right. Yeah, and I can only imagine it takes an army of people, so to speak, to pull this off. If someone's watching out there and they would like to be a part of this and volunteer, and so I'm guessing there's a lot of different areas you need volunteers
Yeah, we
for?
do. We use volunteers for, like I said, drop-offs, pickups, picking up donations from different places around. We're doing events. I do a lot of events, particularly in the summertime. I set up events pretty much every weekend so that we can get out there and be seen and raise awareness. And normally I do the events, but sometimes it's a little overwhelming to do an event every single weekend. So I'm starting to train volunteers to do our events for us and give me a little bit of a time off, a little break.
Sure.
So yeah, they definitely, and they can always reach out to us on Facebook, or they can reach out to us by email at nobleempty@outlook.com. And we'd love to have more volunteers.
Yes, I can only imagine. When I get on your Facebook page, I try to follow when I
Yeah.
can. Life is busy, but there's times when I'll see that you'll get a delivery of 70, 80, 90 packages.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So you have a wish list, or how does that come about from
Yeah.
the time you get that delivery? What happens prior to that?
Well, I have a wish list on Chewy that's there all the time, and I have one on Amazon as well. And then there is a dog on Instagram you may be aware of, Morty the Misfit. And he is a big supporter. So when we start to run into inventory issues, he will give a shout out on his Facebook page and ask his thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, and they all respond. We call him Team Morty. Team Morty responds. The last time it was 284 boxes that came.
Wow,
UPS
amazing.
literally came with a truck just for us.
That's amazing. Wow, that is absolutely amazing. So for folks out there, for myself personally, time management can be one of my biggest challenges daily. And I'd like to be several places at once. I simply can't. So for folks that may be watching, that this is an opportunity for them to participate in something like this without actually having the time to go physically somewhere. So what's some of the ways that I see you do a lot of fundraising, obviously, like you have $2 Tuesdays, and on, and that's a way for folks to get plugged in. You accept funds through different digital means.
Yeah, we have Venmo and PayPal that we accept donations from, or they can always mail. You know, we never refuse checks. Checks are good through USPS. So that's always a great way that people can help out. I've had people just show up and drop off. I had a woman stop yesterday and dropped off some money just driving by, and she said, I know you need it, and so here you go. Most of the time, our donation requests are for food items or items for the pets. Occasionally, I have to put out there and say, look, we really just need some cash donations right now, because even though the pantry is in my garage, I've converted my garage into the pantry, we have expenses, and sometimes we just have to meet those expenses. I try to keep our expenses as low as possible, but, you know, it's like any other organization.
Now, another part of your fundraising, there's sponsorship levels.
Yeah.
And what about corporates? I mean, there's a lot of animal-friendly.
Right. There's a lot of opportunity for businesses to sponsor. We have different levels of sponsorship, from benefactor, which is $2,000, right on down to what we call Fur Friend, which is $75, which is really affordable for small independent businesses, but also for individual people. I have some sponsors that sponsor every year. We're always trying to expand our sponsorships because our sponsorship money really is dedicated to covering our expenses so that we don't have to take the money that comes in the rest of the year and take it away from any food options that we have. So, yeah.
Yeah, so if somebody wanted to do that, would they go online and do that?
Yeah,
or
they,
go-
they can go right, they can contact me via email or call me, and we can set it up. The information for what the sponsorship levels are right on our Facebook page. We give as much as we can to our sponsors. I can't say, I'm going to give you a billboard on Route 202, but you get signage in the pantry. You get signage at all of our events. And every Sunday, I do a sponsor spotlight. So I actually pick one of our sponsors and do a post just about them and their business and the impact they have made on Noble Empty.
Right.
So we kind of give them a spotlight there.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it gives them, I would think just this warm, fuzzy feeling of, wow,
Yeah.
we're making a difference here. So let's say somebody donated $50. How far would $50 go in purchasing food or
Yeah, $50 will probably
just as an example?
Yeah, $50 will help me take care of, say, 2 dogs, probably for a month.
Uh-huh.
So,
Right, and that's a real variety of foods
yeah.
and supplies that would be needed. It's not all the bottom rung of food, so to speak.
No, it's not. And we're very fortunate that we have a lot of the pet stores, like Wagon Wash and Pet Supplies Plus, that donate to us. So anything that they get returns or things that are coming close to date, they can't sell it, but it's still good. It can still be used.
Sure.
So they donate it to us. ARL, Animal Refuge League, they donate to us frequently. Animal Welfare Society donates to us. So we get a lot of food donated, which is good, and we just have to supplement with what we get in cash donations. And we get a wide variety. We get the high end, we get the mid grade. Once in a while we get the really low end. But, most people, when their pets are really hungry, they're not fussy. We do work with people if their pets have allergies or food sensitivities. We work with them and we make sure that we are meeting their dietary needs.
Right, because I'm sure there are some specialty foods that some animals
Yeah, we
need.
have some clients that our pets are on prescription foods. And prescription foods, if you've ever had to buy them, are outrageously expensive. So we have some vet offices that will donate to us, and then I verify that their vet, that they have the prescription for it. And as long as I can verify it, we can get it for them.
Yeah. So, and owner retention, Michelle, back to you. Owner retention is probably a big part of this equation. You said earlier people were, they're all right except for the cost of food. It's for them to do that. Can you touch on that a little bit and maybe talk about what that means to someone and to be able to have that pet in the home? You said you have kids.
I do.
So probably the connection there is probably very important, I would think. And-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my pets are family, so they're like my kids. It's hard to make a decision of, do we stay warm? Do we buy some food? Do we, go buy dog food or cat food? Or, it's hard. Do you give up your pet because you can't afford to feed them and take care of them properly? It's a hard decision for many, and elderly, with the rising prices, or, single parents such as me, it's, money just doesn't go as far anymore as it used to, and that makes it tough, and it's a horrible decision on, what are you going to pay? Are you going to get them food? Are you going to relinquish them? Or, so it's a ray of light sometimes, that you have that backup possible. Because I actually have one of the animals that needs special food. I have a cat that has bad food allergies that needs duck food. And, or she loses all her hair and has major sores all over her body. So Nadine's helped me out with that before when, I've been, in the hospital or out of work for whatever reason, and been like, can you help? Because, I can't afford a $40 bag, 12-pound bag of duck cat food. And, so you know, so many people are so thankful for that. And I push it, and I've helped with events, and many don't know about it and are so excited to hear about it. And shelters aren't getting more unwanted animals that may potentially not get adopted. People aren't losing their animals that may be, you know, their emotional support or only thing they have in the world, or, you know, like me, my animals are my family. And, you know, so it reflects on all aspects. Be able to keep your pet, able to feed them, keeping the animal out of the shelter that are already overrun as it is. You know, it just goes so many different ways that you don't really
Do you want to
realize
share
it.
what you have for pets? Or?
I have a couple of kitties. I have a dog that I actually rescued a few months ago that had mange. And then we do have 2 lizards as well. So, yeah, so we've
bearded-
always... No beard. I have my son has a blue-tongued skink, which I've never used the pantry for help with them because they eat worms, or actually the skink eats cat food, which is kind of funny, and eats from a spoon. She's spoiled. But I've only gotten help for the dogs or the cats when I've had them. So
Yeah. And be able
Yeah.
to keep them in the home, what does that mean to your kids?
it means a lot. Like I said, our cats are a family. They all have their little personalities. They all have first and middle names. You know, they're just, I love my animals. I've always had animals ever since I was little. A lot of times they're, you know, what brings you up from a dark day or something,
Yeah.
you know, when you get home and, you know, they plop in your lap and, you know, roll over on their bellies or cuddle. Or I have one cat that, she knows when I'm having a tough day, she'll come in and lay on top of me, or at night. It's like kind of like a breathing heavy blanket or weighted blanket sometimes. It's amazing what animals can do for you.
The therapy.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
back to 5 years ago, her son was hit by a drunk driver. And he was in the hospital for a long time and went through a lot of surgeries and things like that. And
Is he a pedestrian? Or?
He was on a bike on the side of the road on 25, and a guy, it was his 4th OUI that he got caught for, hit him going 50 miles an hour in Standish.
Goodness gracious.
And
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. And
Yeah.
so the animals were such an integral part of his recovery,
Understood
providing
completely.
him comfort and support. Yeah, they were a big part of that.
So it's actually some healing power, so to speak, that
Absolutely.
they would have. Yeah. And how's your
Yeah.
son doing now? Do you mind?
He's actually doing really good. He's permanently disfigured with his back, where the truck actually hit him. But he graduated a year early, is working a full-time job. He's doing wonderful, which, you know, was such a big surprise because we didn't know what was going to happen for so
Wow.
long. Yeah.
Sorry you had to
He's
go
a
through
miracle.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
So to continue just for a second, if you don't mind, I want to
Sure.
continue on some of the stats you gave. 641 of these animals, of the 2,174, belong to veterans. 48 belong to families sheltering from domestic violence. 29 belong to families currently unhoused. 189 belong to families with a disabled child or children. And 91 belong to a widower of a veteran. That's just powerful to me. I mean, that just... We hear people, I don't know, we live in a funny world today, especially with social media and people's opinions of, and I think you're just hitting all of these areas, this category of folks here, if that's the right term, that's what a lot of people seem to express their concern about. Everybody's got an opinion, and
Right.
veterans is one of those things that it comes up a lot. So I think that's something right there. Do you want to?
Well, so many of our veterans right now, especially our older veterans, they're struggling. They are no different from anyone else. They struggle financially, but they also have a lot of trauma in their past. And our younger veterans are dealing with trauma. I have 4 veterans that have TBI, and they really struggle. So their pets are their world. Their pets are what keep them grounded. And on the days when the PTSD gets to a point where they think that there's just not another step they can take, there's not another day they can face, their animals are what keep them. They're what keep them going. So I'm a veteran myself, so I'm honored to be able to serve our veterans. They deserve it for what they've done for our country, whether they were in conflict or not, whether they were injured or not. They raised their hand and they took the pledge that if that came to be, if there was a conflict, if there was something, they were going to be there. Not everybody can do that. So really feel like our veterans are something that we owe a great deal to.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's means a lot. So, and just to continue with this, an increasing number of clients are unable to travel to us due to health issues, economics. So we've been handling more requests for home drop-offs than ever before. Your home drop-off service breaks down as follows: total number of homes receiving drop-off services 48. Number of towns you're traveling to 9. Total number of pets receiving drop-off service 75 cats, 23 dogs, 2 rabbits, 2 hamsters, and 4 guinea pigs. And you continue on here: with the help of your phenomenal volunteers, you've been able to sustain and even expand your home drop-off services for clients in situations such as the lack of transportation, medical conditions that prevent them travel to you or to a pickup point. And this is not an advertised service; it's only offered on a case-by-case basis. I can only imagine that could be. Compassion fatigue is a real thing when it comes to animals, and when you're making those types of decisions to do that, what would be most valuable for you and the organization to receive so that you can continue providing that service and perhaps
Believe it or not,
expanding it?
Gift cards for gas are huge because my volunteers do it, and they do it on the gas on their own dime. So if I can give them gift cards to put gas in their cars to continue doing it, that would be an enormous thing for them. Many of them are clients, so they don't have a lot of money to spare anyway. And some of them are at risk of being clients, but yet they show up, and they show up for the pets and the people. And really, when I first started the pantry, I said, no home drop-offs. You want help, you got to come to us. That's the minimum responsibility you have to take. And then I had an elderly client who started having memory issues. And she started to get lost every time she would come to us. And I would have to be on the phone with her, talking her, trying to figure out where she was and talking to her how to get to the pantry. And I said, I can't do that anymore. You know, we have to be able to adjust our procedures and our rules around their health and safety. So.
Yeah, it's a lot. Just seems logistically that would be not only for the clients that you're serving, but for Noble Empty too.
Yeah.
It's to pull all that together. So what areas do you cover, basically?
Right now, we are serving Cumberland County, York County, Oxford County, and Androscoggin County.
Wow.
We will be losing Oxford County and Androscoggin County. We're in the process of kind of transitioning them. There is a church in Hartford that has started to hand out pet food, and they've come to me, and I keep them stocked in pet food so that they can hand it out to the people in that area. So that saves us from kind of having to travel to Oxford County. In Lewiston, there is a new pet food pantry called Community Critters, and we're helping to get them up and started and get things going there. We share inventory. Actually, they actually came down and shared some inventory with me a couple of months ago when I was just empty and facing a distribution day coming up in 2 days and had very little to offer anyone. So they came down with a load and helped us out. So once they kind of are prepared for the onslaught of what we release to them, we'll be turning our Androscoggin County clients over to them.
So is this a human pet food pantry that is also going to incorporate pet food?
No, the one in Community Critters in Lewiston is just a pet food pantry. We actually have about 17 dedicated pet food pantries in Maine. Not all, we've lost a few, but we have a few good ones. There's one in Waldo County Pet Food Pantry. They're awesome. They actually were probably the first pet food pantry in the state of Maine. And then there's one in the Bath Brunswick area that is awesome. So they have started to restrict to their clientele to people who use the human food pantry. So you can only go to them if you use the human food pantry. But I have very few restrictions for people. I try to keep it as easy to access as possible. The easier it is to access, the easier it is for people to ask for help. People already come in nervous, afraid to ask for help. People are afraid. Someone I saw on the internet, on Facebook a couple of months ago, somebody said, "Oh no, don't ask No Bowl Empty for help, because if you ask for help, the state will take your pets away." And I said, no, they won't. This is how we keep your pets. This is how you get to keep your pets.
Right.
And it's not just, we don't do it just for the people, because pets, when surrendered, if anybody's ever dealt with surrendered pets, especially cats, they can go into a very bad depression. They stop eating, they stop drinking, they go into kidney failure. It's a downward spiral for them. They need their family, and their family needs them.
Well, for me, personally, I've been thinking about this for the past few days and talking about, what you do. And some of it can be, it can be depressing, I guess, to understand that there are so many folks and their pets that are in need. But on the other side of that, too, I think it's really to look at the positive benefits of it. Without this going on, yeah, it can be a little depressing, but the benefits, I think, are just untold. I think Michelle's a good example of saying probably so many of the other ones that you do without this service, because someone's having a rough time, doesn't mean that they're going to be outcast. It's just some people are so opinionated, and they can really get off topic and just spew something right out of it. So on your website, the Facebook page, I think that there's a good amount of information on there that's going to help steer people the right way. And
we're very non-judgmental. And when I started this pantry, I really started it with the idea that we were not going to be judgmental. And a little background on how I got to that was, at the time, I was going through a cancer treatment. I was living with my aunt, who was mentally disabled. And we hit hard financial times. And we went to a human food pantry to get food for us. And we spent 3 hours being dehumanized and told we could come once every 3 months. And I left there feeling about that high. And I said, I will never do that to another human being so that they can feed their pet. I won't do it. So no, you don't have to prove income. You don't have to prove need. I take you at your word. All you have to do is ask for help. And then we have very simple rules. The first rule is, obviously, you cannot get any new pets while you're getting service from us. And it's not that I'm trying to keep you from getting pets, but if you're using our service, you're already at a point where you can afford to care for the pets that you have. We'll help you with that burden, but we can't increase our burden. And the other, other simple rules. You're not going to try to resell the food that you get from us. You're not going to try to take it back to the store and see if you can get a refund. You have to accept whatever we have. I can't guarantee brands and formulas. You're going to have to take what we have. What you get this month may not be the same brand you get next month. And if that's important to you, then the pantry really can't be where you come, because I cannot guarantee what we have.
Yeah. And how about medications and treatments, some of the other things? Are you folks able to provide any of that? Or?
We cannot provide medications because we're not licensed to provide a medication. We do have resources that sometimes we can help people with sending them to somebody who has, if somebody's pet passes away, they may reach out to me and say, I have this medication left over from my pet. And I'll say, hold on to it. Because I can then say to a client, well, I can't distribute medication to you, but I know this person whose dog passed away and they have that medication, and I can put them in touch. We work with some of the vets' offices that will oftentimes help out if I call them and say, look, I've got a client that's in a situation, and they'll do vaccinations sometimes at low cost or no cost. We have a local vet who is a mobile vet who works with us to do veterinary vaccine clinics.
Yeah, those types of things are critical. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not only for the health and benefit of the animal, but some of it's state law where, is
Right,
required. I mean, like
right, and-
rabies is a good example, and
Right. All of our clients have to be licensed according to state law, which means they have to have their rabies, because you don't get licensed without a rabies. And cats, how you have to prove that have their rabies vaccination. If they don't, when they come to me, it's not a big deal. They get to come for 2 months while we figure out how we're going to get them these things. Get them their vaccines. And if I have to pay for their dog to be licensed, then I pay for their dog to be licensed. If you really can tell me that you can't afford the $6 to license your dog, then I can help you. And whether I'm helping as the Pantry or helping as me, we get them the help.
yeah. And there's a lot of, when I've just retired from animal control work, not recently, and I was certified 2006, and at that time, there was very little help. Cats was a good example. This kitty season thing, when I was working at Animal Refuge League at that time, kitty season was a real something that no one looked forward to, and the amount of resources that it took, to bring all of those cats in, and that's just one shelter, let alone all of the other
Right,
places around the
right.
state to do that. The state is really, the rescues, the shelters, these community organizations such as yours, has really opened up doors for folks to be able to get a low-cost rabies vaccination. There are organizations out, the spay and neuter programs that are out there
They're fabulous.
are incredible.
It's just educating people about them, because people still don't know a lot about them. So I get a lot of people that will reach out and say, I really need to get my dog fixed, but I can't afford the $900 at the vet. And I can point them in the direction of the programs that are out there.
Right.
They Spay Me, and then you have the Clio Fund, and Animal Welfare Society in Kennebunk does a great program for $10. So
The Clio Fund.
yeah. So
And if I remember right, years ago, there was a person, I can't remember her name, but a long time, it seemed like the Clio Fund was if you wanted to get your cat some help like that, or spayed or neutered, and the Clio Fund was it.
Yeah.
That was a lot of, it's been quite a while back, but the Clio Fund was like one of the only, ways to reach out. And they did phenomenal work when they had money to be able to help folks. But it's just changed so much. And Animal Welfare Society taking that over and expanding that.
Yeah.
I mean, it must
they
have.
do it for dogs and cats, and it's a huge help to the community. And it's not just a help to the owners, but also in keeping our populations down, because literally, even today, our cat populations are out of control. We have organizations like Community Cat Advocates and Friends of Feral Felines that literally go out, and they're not bringing cats in from out of state. They're not bringing the cats up from Texas or anyplace else. They're concentrating on the cats here, and they're trapping the feral colonies. The ones that can be socialized are socialized and adopted out. The ones that can't be, they make them barn cats. But they all get spayed and neutered. They all get their shots. They're healthy and they're cared for. Not living in the streets, making more cats. I recently had an elderly client. She was actually, her and her husband were clients for 4 or 5 years. He passed away. And they would come to me. They had one cat of their own, but they would come to me and get big bags of dry cat food, because people were always dropping cats on their property, abandoning cats on their property, because they lived on a big farm area. And so they had this huge colony, and they were feeding them. When her husband passed away, her children decided she needed to sell the house, and she was going to move into an assisted care facility. She refused to leave as long as the cats were there not being cared for. So I was able to reach out to my contacts at Friends of Feral Felines, and we went there and trapped. And what we thought was 16 cats ended up being more like 32 cats. One cat had been hit by a car a couple of years before and lost use of one leg, so he was literally running around outside just dragging his leg behind him. And we were able to get his leg amputated and get him cared for. It's amazing how so many of them can actually be socialized pretty easily, especially if they're young. And you end up with these cats that are getting what they've always wanted, just love. A safe home and love. And so, yeah, it's nice to watch the transformation.
So let's talk about Rain for a
Rain,
minute. Tell us
yes.
about Rain. You think maybe she's letting her treats digest here? And
There she is.
I heard my name.
So Rain is our spokes puppy, our spokes dog. She goes to all of our events with us. She has a wardrobe of tutus. She has a bigger wardrobe than I do.
very appropriate.
Tutus and hats. She decided that she was going red, white, and blue today. So we let the diva have her way. Rain is a rescue dog. I rescued her in April. I got her from one of the local rescues, Green Arc, and friends of mine. I had a Staffordshire Terrier before who was wonderful. She was an amazing dog. She had been rescued from a dog fighting ring. She was the bait dog. And her big takeaway from that was she had super bad separation anxiety. You could not leave her. She would jump through a window to get out of the house if you left her. She actually did once.
Did. I was
That's
gonna
how
say,
I
Ann
know.
did.
That's how I know. She did it once. So she started just going everywhere with me. And she was a big draw. People just adored her. She went on and got her therapy dog certification and worked with autistic children and seniors with dementia. And she passed away 2 years ago from cancer. And at that time I said, I'm done. I have a border collie at home. He's not social at all. He can't do events. I said, I'm done, no more. And my friend who runs Green Arc reached out to me one day and she said, I have this dog. I've had her for a couple of months and every time I look at her, I think, I gotta tell Nadine, I gotta tell Nadine. So I said, well, I'll come meet her, but I'm not adopting. As you can see, I didn't adopt. I didn't adopt. And she will go on to get her therapy dog certification as well.
She seems so gentle.
She's very gentle. She loves all dogs, all people. She comes from Georgia, from a situation where she was being beat really bad. Neighbors would frequently call law enforcement, and one day law enforcement actually witnessed it. And
Oh,
so
my goodness.
they removed her. Maybe she's pretty sure that everybody is simply on the universe to play with her.
Right. And aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I call her my little money maker when I
Yeah.
do events.
Yeah.
If I do an event without her, donations are okay. I do an event with her, we
Yeah.
have fabulous donations.
Yeah.
So I literally joke with her that when we're getting ready for an event, it's time for her to go shake her little money maker.
Yeah.
I really do the best I can at the pantry to educate about animal behaviors, animal awareness. We keep track of things like food recalls and educating people that there's a food recall out there. Pet food recalls happen more than most people realize. So I do my best to encompass everything. One of my biggest rewards is helping people and watching them improve their situation and get to a more stable point in life where they don't need us anymore. Most of them stay in touch, which is good. It's always nice to keep in touch with them. My clients become like family. I know about them and their children and their grandchildren and their pets and their health issues, and we keep on top of that. And so that's always been a reward. But the other reward is for some of our pet clients are just long-term clients. They always will be. But knowing that the elderly person who lives alone has their pet, they have that comfort. We had a woman a year ago, her neighbor called me, her neighbor went over to visit her, and then wasn't expected, and the neighbor walked into the apartment and found her eating cat food because she couldn't afford food for herself and her cat. So she called me, and I reached out to my supporters, and we ended up filling her refrigerator, her freezer, and her cupboard with food for her, and then we took over feeding her pet. And knowing that we were able to make a difference in her life like that means a lot to me.
Now, if she was the type of person that maybe wouldn't have asked for help or reached out.
Some people are so proud. I have people that cry when they come to us for help because just asking for the help is hard. And they don't know what they're facing. And they'll say to me, I don't know what I have to do. I said, you've done it.
Right.
You asked for help, and that's all you have to do is to tell me you need help.
Right.
And we'll make it work. We'll
Yeah,
find
because
a
the
way.
point of this isn't to shame people.
Right. There's no shame. If you need help, ask. Don't be ashamed. You know, there's nothing to be sorry for.
And I hope folks are hearing that.
Yeah.
And take that to heart. There's so many ways to contact you as well. And we'll put that information up on the screen so folks can do that. So there's not just, you know, it's not just an in-person contact. There's a
Right.
lot of ways to contact No Bowl Empty and to get that ball rolling and to get them into the, get their place in the queue there to help do that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Nadine, is there anything we haven't covered today that you'd like
I
to?
think that's it. I just want to say that what I do, I couldn't do without my supporters. So really, I always say I am the ambassador of the community kindness. But without support, we couldn't do what we do. And if we don't continue to get support, we could go away. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part, is feeling like you're always asking people for money. People have a hard time asking me for pet food, but I in turn have to turn around and ask the community for the money and the support. And we need it desperately. Feeding 2,000, 21,000 pets is a lot of food and a lot of money. I have people say to me all the time, you know, you're already feeding 2,100 pets. You shouldn't take on new clients. And how do you tell somebody no, that you're number 2101 and you don't get to have food? It's just not possible. It just means I have to work harder. And,
Yeah.
and that's what I do.
Well, that's great. Again, I can't thank you.
Thank you. We
For-
appreciate you having us.
Yeah. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, thank everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time on Maine-ly Animals on LRTV.